my week 18 and 19 update following the ketogenic diet. Yeah, I've got a mixed report for you. So the week 18 was pretty bad. Week 19 I'm getting back on track. So on the Friday last week I had a farewell party at a Korean restaurant, which also involved karaoke, which means for me being a bit awkward with singing in front of people. It also involved alcohol, and I had too many vodkas and Coke Zero, so I tried to choose low carb things. But yeah, once I reached that tipping point, then all my good decision making went out the window, and I did have some takeaway on the way home, and some rum later on, and some beers, I think. But basically it was a messy night, and it's the first time I've done that in, quite a while, that messy. But yeah, and then the Saturday I had an all day strategic planning session, which I wouldn't advise to have a big night followed by something like that. So I felt really unwell for at least the whole morning, and ended up just eating catering that day, which wasn't entirely keto friendly. And then was teaching swimming out in one of the villages in the afternoon, like late afternoon, and they had food provided with that, and I ended up just eating that as well. So that kind of set me on a bit of a spiral, and then really struggled for the next week or so, or at least few days. That sort of little bits and pieces seemed to sneak in a lot more easily than they had previously, when I felt in control. And that was the biggest thing that I noticed, was my loss of control again. The thing that I like the most about the ketogenic diet is that I feel in control of my appetite, and I feel in control of food, which is like a really novel feeling, and something that I really like, because it feels like it will be possible to get down to a reasonable weight and that kind of thing. And that's the first thing to go when I cheat, is that sense of control, and I want to eat all the food and drink all the cappuccinos and stuff like that for the next week after, and I have to really focus on bringing it back in, reining things back in, and it takes longer than that I ever intend. So that, I usually think, right, I'll just do this now, and then tomorrow I'll be straight back on track, and that sort of thing, whereas it usually takes at least 4 days. I've found to get a little bit under control, and every one of those is a bit of a struggle to stay under control. And I'd start off the days with a really good ketogenic meal and stuff like that, and think that I'm going strong, and then sort of binge a little bit. It's not, definitely not like on a scale that I've been before, but I will binge a little bit in the evenings or something, and just lose that resolve, which is something that when I'm in full ketosis and feeling good, that I don't do. Then I did get back on track this week, and feeling that in control. And I feel like I actually noticed when I switched over, so there was a few days where I just felt like I was going to be putting on weight. I just felt heavy and felt like my body was holding on to things, and then I felt when it sort of changed gears and felt like it was releasing again, and I wondered if that was going into ketosis, but I didn't test either side to know. But yeah, that was an interesting sensation. I mean, I'd like to do some more testing, but at the moment I'm planning to try and avoid cheating as much as possible, and be one of these people that's pretty clean. So I can't experiment too much, because that would mean cheating to see and having those periods of putting on weight, rather than just going down, which is more of the plan. But it was interesting nonetheless, because I've never really noticed that much about my body. People say, oh, you'll feel it and all that sort of stuff, but I've never really felt that bad when I eat carbs, and never really felt that bad when I don't. And those sort of things, so that it's interesting to get a few different signals that I've not noticed before. I don't know, I certainly felt unwell on the Saturday, but I'd say that was more alcohol related. But yeah, I felt unwell going into the next week, and really lethargic and stuff as well, so that could well have been related to having carbs again. But yeah, it was interesting, but I don't want to repeat it. I'm back. So I put on about 2 kilos in that week at least. I kept forgetting to weigh in, like, very first thing in the morning. But the one day that I did, I was definitely up 2 full kilos at like 107.2, and I was 105.2, you know, those couple of weeks ago. But this morning I was 105.0, so that I feel like I am back on track and doing well. So the plan is to have a quiet few weeks of just, you know, staying within my macros and focusing on that, and making good choices. And so I do want to clean up my keto a little bit, but at the same time, at the moment it's still working for me, not being 100% careful, you know, choosing the most, you know, organic and beautiful ingredients or those sort of things. I can still have some cheese and that sort of stuff and do well. So yeah, that I think, and listening to podcasts and stuff, I sometimes get myself bogged down in too much detail, and so I think I'm going to take the approach that if it's still working for me, then I will keep going in that way, and then once I hit a stall, which I'm sure will happen eventually, you know, if I'm having trouble again, then that's when I can re-examine and sort of clean things up a little bit further and stuff like that. So I'm not going to try and fix what isn't broken, and make it too complicated for myself. But yeah, so doing pretty well after a bit of a setback, and it's just a reminder that cheating's not worth it. Just especially that feeling of having no control over what I eat, which is what I've felt my whole life, and what I've really enjoyed about keto is feeling in control, and that's back, which is a really good thing. But yeah, I hope you're having a really good week, or 2 weeks, and doing really well. But I'll see you next week. I'm hoping to get this video uploaded tomorrow, but I'm having trouble with my internet at the moment, so it might take me a little bit longer, but it will come soon. Alright, thanks. Bye.